Who asked?
I don't know exactly because it's
Okay,
everybody's India. So
that's cool. That's cool. Okay. So delegates, the two ways you communicate outside committee are either by sending a directive or using a communique. Now, a directive is mainly you can regard it as a plan of action. So it must have some sort of event taking place. So a directive could be that I want to kill, assassinate so and so. That's a directive. But a communique is just sending a message, sending information. So, like many delegates raised the doubt that can we bring information that we have noticed under our portfolio powers? Yes, you can, but you do that through a communique. So, say you want to communicate with the Prime Minister of China, you write a communique saying from, say, the Home Minister of India to the Prime Minister of China, um, and that comes to us, and then you can, the second we say ratified, okay, we respond ratified, that means that that communication has taken place, and we will let you know the results of it in committee or personally, okay, mostly in committee because the communiques are supposed to be disclosed in committee. So communique is basically just, you could consider it like formal communication from yourself to outside the committee. You could also do inter-cabinet communication. For example, delegates of the Indian cabinet could send communiques to the Chinese cabinet, and those can be used to create a peace treaty among them. Okay, uh, so that's how a communique works. Are there any more questions, or have I answered your question? Okay, I'm going to assume I have.
This is not a very important question, but does a communique have a specific format?
Yeah, it's just to, then the body, and then from. That's it.
Thank you.
Yep.
okay, delegates. Just to clarify, we've received some questions in the chat. All right, I see delegate. The defense minister raising the placard. Can you please?
Yeah, just a question. Will press releases also be entertained by the EB?
Let me get back. Towards the end, I believe we'll be looking at a collective treaty or a press release. We'll finalize that towards day three, if that works for you.
Got it.
All right. So we've received a few queries on how the chits are working. So we'll be requesting you to send your chits personally to us if they're via EB on WhatsApp, and then we'll forward it to the respective delegate. And yeah, I hope that's clear. Everybody understood that.
I got it.
Okay, delegates. I think the breakout rooms are open now, so you can join them.
I'm not able to see any option to join though.
Same here.
Same here.
All right. I think it's happening one by one. Just take a moment. Okay. I think.
I'm still not able to join the breakout room.
We're looking at that.
Okay, cool. The rooms are about to be assigned.
Delegates are requested to check if you're getting the breakout rooms option below.
I'm not getting any breakout rooms option.
I
Yeah,
have got the breaker room 2 option right now.
Yes, please join. Whoever's getting it, please join.
Sure.
okay.
Ma'am, I just wanted to ask how we're supposed to send the directives and to whom are we supposed to send them?
You send that to us privately. So if you're India, then you send it to me. If you
Thank you.
Ma'am, those who are not getting the option, what shall they do as of now?
we're trying to sort that out. Just give me a moment. So who all are not getting the option? Can you just get a show of hands or just
I had it a minute ago, but I just lost it.
okay? Quickly check if you're getting it in your tab below.
Yeah, that's where I had it a minute ago. I just lost it.
All right. अभी भी
Yeah,
you're getting it.
no.
Okay.
I'm not getting it either.
All right.
The
Okay, so
breakout
we're
rooms just aren't
assigning
working.
again. Yeah, we're
Okay,
assigning again.
cool. Um, it keeps saying the breakout rooms will close in some minutes.
I don't get it.
I think it's because the host isn't present. Or
No, the host is here.
yeah.
Gauri, can you just check now, please?
I'm not getting an option, ma'am. Delegates, are you? Anyone?
No.
No.
Okay, Gauri, you have
Same here.
about a minute. I'll get back to you. Just give me a minute. I'll get back. Yeah. Gauri, it seems that Devashish, somebody by the name called Devashish, he has already been in one of the rooms. So why isn't that others are getting the option of joining the room?
I don't get it either. Devashish is in the
Devashish
room,
is
but
into one of the breakout rooms.
yes,
As per
but none
one
of
of the
us are getting the option. I believe. I'm not getting it either.
All right, let me get back to you. Thank you. Just give me a minute.
I'm really sorry about the breakout room situation. I believe we have lunch at 3. So we'll be working on the same. We'll be sorting it out, and the second comedy session should be more productive. I'm really sorry about the situation once again.
Some of the delegates have joined it, but not all.
Yeah, I see that. I'm not getting why some of us are getting at some point. Alright, delegates. So, an announcement: we're creating a new link. Nivedita ma'am will put it in the chat. I request you to join that whenever it's not there yet. I'll just announce that when it has come.
What are we doing now?
I request you to please go to your groups and start deliberating. I see China is very active. India is a little slow, so I encourage more discussion in that.
I've not got the link yet, like the new Zoom
Yeah,
link.
we're sharing it. Just a moment. We're creating it.
Okay.
Gauri, please check the chat box once.
So the link is there. I'm also sending it in the WhatsApp group for those who can't see it, requesting everyone to join.
I request Srividya ma'am to end the meeting for everyone and
Yeah.
Let them just access the link and the link. Alright, I've sent it in the WhatsApp group for those still here.
Ma'am, can we basically lobby on the WhatsApp group?
Yeah, sure. You can always you can continue with what you're discussing. I'm just coordinating with the other cabinet as well.
Sure.
Sorry about that. Delegates, can we discuss the topics that we're discussing on the WhatsApp group and the call?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I guess we can take up these two topics, and thirdly, we can take up a really important thing with a really important topic, which is the changes. So after the mistakes, we can have changes.
So you want to talk about the new, basically how India is different and has changed and is.
No, so basically how we want to change, the changes we want to bring in.
In the
basically,
future.
as the chief of army staff, I might just speak about the changes I am looking forward to in the army. And of course, the defense minister can aid me.
Okay. Okay, David.
So yeah, it is like that. Similarly, all of us can think whatever, like some changes which will help improve this situation between India and China, and at the same time help us economically.
Delegate, yeah, I agree with you. But we can also discuss about one of the main issues, the claims on the eastern and western sectors of
that is
the manufacturing
Are you
controls.
talking about the Nathula area? And
I'm talking about the western sector includes basically Ladakh and which is right now
Delegate,
under.
I guess that will form a really important topic called the history, right? So the claims are a part of the history and how. So whenever there has been a claim, there has been a subsequent war, all right?
Yes, but the issue right now is that we have different claims on each other, like China's claim on India's ground and our claim on China.
both have claims on something. So
So those are important to discuss because that's basically the main part of the conflict.
So
The middle.
I believe the claims and the changes can form a very really important part of our opening statement, along with which we can have another mod for the history. So where we can obviously talk about the claims, the wars. It'll be a greater. It'll provide us with a greater area, and of course we can talk about whatever we want to. And plus, when we talk about the claims, it'll be a bit repetitive. So we're 7 of us over here, and of
What
course
is our
everybody knows.
As India, what's our current stance?
So it is actually quite peaceful right now. There's nothing happening. But of course, as ma'am introduces to us the crisis, we will get to know what our stance is.
Yeah, seeing how in the history there's been this only and there needs to be some.
So honestly, there have been two major historic events. One of them is the 2017 standoff, and one of them is, of course, the 62 war.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, there was some treaty signed in 57 or 59. I'm not sure. I just tell you 57.
Which
Hi, ma'am. Because you have to record, I'm making you the host, so you can turn on your recording side, and then you can give me back the host rights. You can turn on your recorder.
like to see any more of these classes happening in the future. Thank you.
Okay, delegate, you have 10 seconds left. Would you like to yield your time to the chair or to another delegate or to questions?
I will take questions.
All right, so 10 questions, 10 seconds implies one question. So does any delegate have a question? All right, will you be open to a question from the chair, delegate?
Yes.
All right, so delegates, in the next 3 days, what sort of approach do you think China should carry out in order to, establish a diplomatic relationship with India?
I think China should first of all tell India to respect the LAC.
How the defense minister said that China has so many allies and all. We can talk about how Chinese and the Pakistan relations had improved like over time, and how they had backed them in an Indian and Chinese in the Indian and Pakistan war of I
Yeah,
don't
see,
know.
Sorry,
considering the
could you
fact
repeat
that
your
we
point,
have
Senator Fernando? Sorry, Defense Minister, but could she repeat her point? Sorry, my internet dropped
I
in the
was
middle.
just saying that we could like after obviously talking about the mistakes India has made, we could talk about how the Chinese and the Pakistan relations had improved, and how China had backed India up in the war. I mean, had backed Pakistan up in the war when India and Pakistan had a war. I don't remember the year now.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So, ma'am, what I've been noticing is that everybody's basically putting a lot of emphasis on the history, right? So we can have one mod in which we can discuss about the history. So it can include everything. It will be a little more vast, and of course there will be no repetition. So maybe the central commander would like to put emphasis on the Pakistani side, whereas the defense minister would like to put emphasis on the Chinese side, maybe, and then somebody about the 62, 2017 standoff, 13
Army
standoff.
first.
Basically,
Yes,
different
you have
events
to
in
remember that
history.
this India is, sorry, continue, Director of Intelligence Bureau.
No, it's okay. You can go ahead. I was just saying that basically we can focus on different events in history and also relate them to what we can possibly do in the future and not repeat a mistake that we've already done in the
Yeah, we
past.
could relate it like to
Our
the
main
mistakes
goal
as well.
should be for the
once can I
and
speak just once?
yeah, sorry, Defense Minister, continue.
Yeah, see, considering the fact everyone is like now focusing on the history, nobody's. I think like it's okay. We can focus on the history, the mistakes we have made. I completely agree with everyone. So now we should just come to a consensus. The committee should also come to consensus about our allies, China allies, like both all the both like both the countries' allies at this
Sir,
point.
as a matter of fact, we don't really
Point of
have other countries
parliament
present over
inquiry.
here.
How is the committee going right now? Because I had network problems, and have we been given the first update?
Delegate was just about to announce.
We were just discussing how we can talk about the mistakes and the history.
Delegate, I'll just make
Yeah.
a comment on that. See, we should do it, but mostly in an unmod. We should not waste our current situation times. We should, because like what has happened in the history, we cannot forget that. Firstly, we have to remember, and we have to do the plan operation or the plan or what we do right now in a much better manner. But we should actually focus more upon the current situation, what skirmishes have there between the PRC, the ROI, the Republic of India, and the People's Republic of
Sir, I
China.
would like to interrupt you over here as we don't really have anything right now.
Okay, delegates, sorry to interrupt, but there's a crisis update. The Chinese government has detected a new virus in Beijing. Its source and symptoms are unknown as of now. There have been no casualties yet, and we don't know how the virus is being transferred. Do you have any questions?
Could you repeat the crisis again?
Yeah, sure. The Chinese government has detected a new virus in Beijing. Its source and symptoms are unknown. There have been no casualties yet, and we don't know how the virus is transferred. There is no sign of how the virus is transferred.
Have there been any cases? Like the amount of
Like mentioned, there have been no casualties yet, and we don't know its source or symptoms. So as of now, we don't know how widespread it is.
okay, thank you.
I just had a one doubt.
Yeah, go ahead, Aryan.
Yeah, first before my doubt, can we ask like substantive queries like which are not mentioned in the crisis update?
Delegate, it's up you may ask, but it's up to us whether we want to sort of answer them, and it's up to our jurisdiction or discretion how well we want to answer them.
Yeah, but it's a bit irrelevant. But can we know the name of that virus also?
No, delegate, the name has not been decided yet.
Has the World Health Organization or the World Health Assembly discussed, or is there a meeting going on, or is there any report or any news from them or any UN organization about
Okay,
the
delegate.
virus?
Considering that most of what we know about the virus is unknown, like there are no casualties, no symptoms, we don't know the source, we don't know how it's transmitted. It is too early right now, and the UN or any of its bodies have not
So
commented.
how did we get to know that there's a virus when it's not spread out? There's not been any casualties. How can we know that there has been a virus originated
Delegate, the Chinese government says they have found it, and we have to take their word for now.
Is the word of the Chinese government reliable? Can we take it as a reliable source?
For now, yes.
All right.
So, delegates, as a matter of fact, keeping in mind the virus named as Spanish flu, which came into existence in the 1920s, we must take adequate steps so that it doesn't spread through our country. Because in 1920, Spanish flu claimed about 17 to 100
Ma'am, we're
million
not
lives.
into formal session right now, and we've not started with our speeches.
I'm
It's
just
not
lobbying.
what's going on.
We are just lobbying like we're having an unmod with the discretion of the EB right now.
All right.
Okay. So yes, Defense Ministry has been raising your black card. Continue.
Yeah, see, considering the fact this is a virus at this point, we need to take adequate steps. Just continuing with Chief of Army Staff's point, first we need to the World Health Organization should be informed about this. Second, research on that virus. Then third, when we get to know most of the symptoms for that virus and all, like mostly people come from international, from China to Delhi, India at this point. So the AAI, the Airport Authority of India, should be informed about the symptoms about the virus, so that whenever any Chinese tourist comes to India, he needs to be checked up nicely at this point, so that we don't have any threat for this virus.
I would like to interrupt you at this point. We're not well aware of the symptoms right now.
Exactly
So
what I
we
was
cannot
saying.
really
That is why I told you, delegate, we will first research, and when we come to know about the symptoms, then.
Defense Ministry,
Sir,
yes.
we only have one source, that is the Chinese government. Sure.
Thank you. Defense Minister, yes, your point is valid, but I have one thing to say is that seeing how we don't know the symptoms, as the chief of Army Staff said, we must first of all think of the people, because we cannot let this virus spread spread to India, and must contain the virus. If you guys agree with me on this.
Yeah. Yes.
So that should be our first goal. And to know that goal, of course, we have to wait on how many casualties, but we must start preparing a plan to see how this must spread or how it can impact India.
So I would like to second the Minister of Home Affairs over here. We can probably develop a plan in order to curb the spread of the virus, and at the current stage, we can take immediate actions to stop the arrival of all passengers from Beijing to India so that the virus doesn't spread over here. And of course, we can request the Chinese government to inform us as soon as they discover something, right? They discover a symptom, or maybe they discover how it's spreading.
Yeah, just to give us a little alert about.
Yeah, and of
if
course,
they find
keeping
out.
in mind, we should always keep in mind this 1920 pandemic, which started as Spanish flu, because it claimed about 17 to 100 million lives, which is of course a big number, and we don't want
We do
that to
not know if
happen.
it's as intense as the Spanish flu currently, but we do know that we have to be prepared because
Yeah, of course, we should be
the
prepared
lives
for the
of
worst.
Indian people are at stake. And as a Home Affair, I have to speak for the people, and I cannot see India as a country go. So,
I don't think mode of discussion
We
in
can
this virus
probably,
should be done.
as soon as the Chinese government discovers a symptom, we might just open some quarantining facilities for all the people who are showing the symptom. All right, so that can be one
Got
step that
it,
we can take.
delegate.
yes.
So,
Just said
and
got
then
it,
keeping in
delegate.
mind the current scenario, what is your stance? Because I guess we've gotten one of the crisis updates, right?
So also, if we have any, we have to keep in mind the crisis when going ahead with plans in case the chief of army staff has any military view. We must remember and keep in mind the current crisis, that there is a flu and that we cannot do something as disruptive as.
Point of parliamentary inquiry. I guess.
I don't know. Should I? I don't think I also have the. Normally, there's an option.
I just wanted to ask if we can,
Yeah, are you present here?
probably consider the current crisis update in our opening statement.
Chair, are you here?
I think so. Crisis updates are mentioned in the opening statements if we get it before the opening
Yeah, but
statements.
opening. So we have to basically. Chair, are you there? Rapid.
Yeah, delegate, what's up?
The
So,
chief of
sir, I just wanted to ask you if we have to basically consider the crisis in our opening statements.
Delegate, if you'd like to, you can talk about it. It's not necessary. However, the update has been like mentioned to you guys. It's up to you how much you want to focus on it or how you want to use it. It's all up to your discretion.
Will we have another discussion on the with China on this topic, or
Delegate, if it's raised in committee, then we will. There's no way to predict what will happen. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Chair.
So, delegates, right now, what steps do you think we
Are
should
there
take
any
with
motions in
China?
order, chairperson, co-chairperson? Are there any
Delegate,
motions in order?
as of now, no. We'll be adjourning the session at 3:30. So for now, it's just you guys are here.
So the unmod is till 3:30.
Yeah, more or less.
So delegates, I believe we can just have a very substantive one mod right now and not take an unmod afterwards in the day.
I'll
Yeah.
suggest one thing, that we should not actually get fully diverted to the
crisis.
No, not to the crisis of the virus found in China, as this could actually be a plan to attack our border or line of control, where our soldiers are taking measures or plan or for the virus and not focusing on the border. We should actually not focus completely on the virus, but actually focus on our borders, and we should implicate a lockdown in the Indian states, so, the more populated ones, such as Jammu Kashmir, the region of Punjab, the
I to interrupt you over here.
One second, I just want to I just want to make an interjection.
Yeah, Defense Minister, tell me.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Home Minister, but there is only one thing I would like to say.
I'm
like
the
military intelligence, like
DG of
are you?
MI.
No, I was speaking
Yeah,
after you
yeah.
and Chief of Army Staff, so I think he meant me.
Yeah, so do you mean that is China distracting us at this point?
Yeah, essentially that
So,
we should not actually
So
trust China
currently, I
right now.
believe a simple step that we can take is we can just halt all the flights coming in from Beijing to India.
Yes, we don't want
At the
to scare
start with
Indian
flights in order to bring back the Indians from from China. And right now, we should not basically come up with the idea of a
Okay.
lockdown because
Yes.
it might affect a
Shouldn't
huge
initially
our
Army Staff,
economy.
as you said,
Declaring
By
a
essentially
we
lockdown
don't
would
know the
lockdown, I
protocol
would
mean
basically mean
as the military. Yeah, continue.
Minister of Home Affairs can continue. I guess I'm done.
Okay. Did anyone else want to say something, or can I continue with my point?
continue, ma'am.
you can continue.
Thank you. I was saying that keeping in mind what Chief of Army has said, sorry, the military of intelligence has said, we must remember that not doing a lockdown or something like that, we don't even know how many, if this case is, if the virus is a huge case, if it's spreading, or, and we don't want to fright our citizens, give our spread fear in our country, but we must be ready to have a stance. So we must discuss that issue, and we shouldn't be forget the conflict at hand while discussing this issue.
So, as the chief of army, I want to tell all of you right now that I would make sure that my army is deployed at all the borders, and of course, I would request the Indian Army to take adequate measures, and at the same time, not forget that they're on the duty for their country, and the army is only for the country, right? It is by the country for the country.
yeah, I just wanted to add up on that, considering the fact, like, let all the military services go on at this point, but Minister of Home Affairs and External Affairs, they should keep in mind that this, like, External Affairs should start contacting China about this virus. It's and also the Home Affairs can just keep all the health services on standby at this point. And
Yes, as I said, yes, I agree with you that we should have our protocols ready. We should contact the
I agree, but
And
there can
anyways,
there can be
China
a higher increase if we don't put the whole city in the lockdown. We are just
China receives most negative reputation because of our secrecy. We need to start
I
informing
get
them
your point, Zoe,
doing
but then
ASAP.
again, the party
we
manifesto
cannot
is that
spread misinformation.
all right, have a
We are
lockdown and
keeping
all
a secret
strongly.
because we don't have the whole update.
Sorry.
And also, point of parliamentary inquiry. Yes, sorry. So, ma'am, can we send a joint communique?
Uh, sure. Yes, if you have something in mind, so yeah.
All right, thank you.
chief.
I'm sorry, Gauri, has the update been announced?
Yes, the first one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Requesting the defense minister to please WhatsApp the directive to me because
yeah, I've also WhatsApped you by.
I think I've replied it to you then. I've replied.
So, delegates, I guess we can maybe come up with the joint communique
Yeah,
to
I was about
China regarding the crisis, right?
not just China, but to as the defense minister had previously stated that the external affairs minister isn't present here, and we would want to reach out to them. We can send a communique to them too, if the defense minister.
So we can probably make one communique and send it to the two of them, all right?
Yeah.
Okay, but I think there should be a separate communique to China and a separate communique to the external affairs of the Minister of India.
Instead of just setting the same one too.
And you guys can tell me what
I
changes you want to
propose
make.
an idea for this. Just second.
Delegates, I
If
request a
it
Google Doc so that we can access it as well. Sorry.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Piece of army stuff, as the chair also stated, let's seeing how it was. We should send a joint one, not just from one person. So let's just create a Google Doc where we all can collaborate and add into our points. Is that fine for everybody?
All
Yeah, that's
right.
perfect.
Okay. Who can create the Google Doc?
I've actually made one for the external affairs minister part.
Can you send the link in the chat
For the
box?
child.
So can you please send the link?
Yeah, just
Yeah, sure.
So we have two communiques right now created from a joint communique, one to external minister and one to the Chinese. Wait, which minister of China affairs are we contacting? China, are we contacting?
I believe the Minister of Home Affairs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Essentially not like that. So the procedure of this is like the whole committee, we should actually first contact the Minister of External Affairs of India to contact the Minister of External Affairs of China about all of this.
I agree. So first we should keep in
So keeping in mind the current scenario where the virus is spreading out, right? So we have to make the communication a little rapid. So I guess we should just
Yes, yes,
make two
ma'am, that
different
would be
documents and
rapid.
send it.
Yeah, but he's saying
But we also have to follow procedure things where we have to send it to the external affairs. The main role of the Minister of External Affairs is to do this.
Is to contact other ministers.
okay. Yes, so we can
That's what I
I
meant,
agree with
delegate.
the military intelligence. So we should just first send a communicate to the external affairs minister.
All right, we can do that.
So has the link been shared? Yeah.
The ones who are like available for the external affairs minister, well, like the
So
letters.
I believe all of us should probably do this one, the External Affairs Minister, the Google Doc shared by the Defense Minister, all right?
Yeah, so everyone can just join there. Just give your points in there. We can just frame it then.
Central Commander, seeing how we're not sending a communique to the Chinese government right now, we're sending a communique to the external affairs. I don't think there's
Defense Minister, can you give edit access?
Yeah.
Delegate, I think so. It's a link which everyone can open.
No, we still have.
You given open and can see in permissions and not open and can edit.
I'll just once again.
Delegative, wait. Defense Minister of India, your directive has not been ratified. You've written a
It's
joint
out of-
directive yourself. So just see that.
Ma'am, it's not a joint directive, it's a personal directive.
I understand that, but just go over what you've written and understand what we've made. You've not just talked to it from your perspective, but also the other ministers.
Ma'am, you're saying that I don't have those powers.
All I can say is it's not ratified, all right? All four chairpersons have been, we've gone through it and it's not ratified.
The link that the defense minister sent, I'm being able to edit. I think so. Should we? I don't think first name basis is there. Follows with that.
Just one question: who's Anonymous Fox?
Shouldn't we write like all of our portfolios, because essentially all of us are sending this communique to the Minister of External Affairs.
Whoever's on that
I
doc, please.
was going to ask that only, but then I thought.
Yeah. Just when the from dash, you can put your portfolio on. Defense Minister is.
Shouldn't we just write India? Or we can't do that?
No, we should not.
Oh, okay.
Who's Anonymous Ferret?
Who wrote the point that all flights should be cancelled? One.
I've written it.
No, delegate. Here comes. I'm just
We
explaining
cannot
that.
write this in the External Affairs communique,
Yeah,
because
that.
essentially we're contacting the External Affairs to not to halt flights. That is the job of the Ministry of Home Affairs, not the Ministry of External Affairs.
And civil aviation and all, but not
Yeah.
external affairs. And
To contact the Chinese embassy.
External affairs minister at this point.
Yeah, to know what's happening in China right now. The Home Minister is ready to take in the fact. If you have any points of that, please discuss it here, and the Home Minister can give the point of view about the flights and everything.
I think those points will be deleted as of now.
Delegates, it's my recommendation to you that you write it as the Indian cabinet and send it to China directly rather than contacting the Minister of External Affairs.
All right, we'll do that. To the Chinese government.
The China cabinet, or should we?
If you're writing it to a specific minister, still understandable, but write it collectively as the Indian cabinet.
Delegate, should we then write it directly to the Chinese cabinet?
We are doing that, delegate.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see the doc. My doc is very slow. Then there's no point saying a recent update from Chinese government. Keeping in mind recent crisis would be a better way of saying it. Should we first write in points and then somebody can summarize it into a paragraph? Because everybody's typing into a paragraph and it's getting confusing. Delegates?
Yeah, I think we should do that instead of like it's honestly becoming a clutter.
Is that fine for everybody?
Delegates, would you like to extend the session for 5 minutes or so, or would you straight away like to go to break?
5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Motion to extend the unmoderated caucus for 5 minutes. Yeah, basically that.
The
No,
motion is passed with the discretion of the EB.
thank you.
Also, once you do begin to discuss for break, please do not leave the meeting. Just turn off your cameras and mute yourselves.
Is it till 4:30 or 4 o'clock?
4:30. It's a 1 hour break.
And then the committee
Then
will extend till 6 o'clock.
No delegate, since we use your time from 3:30, so just same, just 1 hour delayed.
No, what I
No,
essentially meant is.
I understand. We're keeping today's session till 5:30. I hope that tomorrow is going to be a little bit more organized than today.
All right.
yeah, so delegates, actually the paragraph written by everyone, I think it's
Doesn't
okay,
really
like
make
a short
sense.
communique is okay.
Defense Minister doesn't really make sense because it's to the External Affairs Officer, like the first last two lines. I was reading it and it's pretty abrupt. So I think we should first put in points and then summarize it. Otherwise, it makes no sense the way that we've written. If you read it, at least to me.
Um, Ma'am, in the Matrix, it was mentioned that the Chief of Defense Staff is also there, was actually there in the committee, but was not allotted. Ma'am, considering the fact that the Chief of Defense Staff was inaugurated on the December 31st of 2019, is it considered that it was inaugurated earlier than December 31st, looking at it has been mentioned in the Matrix?
Can you just text me this? I'll look over this. Just give me a minute. I'm reading through other
Defense
directives.
Minister, you want to say something or add
Yeah, I
upon
just
my...
actually had a doubt from the EB.
Yes, delegate.
Considering fact it's a crisis committee and everyone has its own powers, like all the ministers and military generals, we can't see chief of air staff and naval staff in this cabinet as of now in the Indian cabinet. So the powers of chief of air staff and naval staff goes to the defense minister here.
Uh, I'll confirm on that, but I believe so. You should send a communique, private communique, requesting for the same. I'll just text it. 2 minutes. I'm really sorry.
Got it.
Who's the anonymous ferret and duck? Because could you please, because there are points being written on the bottom and then written on the top. So can you either just write the points from the, please write your points here part. Am I audible?
Yes, but I think so. We all don't know who is the anonymous ferret and anonymous duck, considering the
Okay.
fact we all are anonymous.
Okay, whoever is typing in the paragraph, can you please type in the points part
Like
because
who is
then
typing point number 3 and 4?
uh, in the paragraph, a lot of people are typing. Can you please type it in the points area and then we can summarize it into a paragraph? Because
Delegates, I'd like to adjourn the committee for a break because it's been quite extended already.
Okay. Can we continue to work on our document while on break?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I just had a doubt.
Yes, Delegate.
Co-chairperson.
Yes, sorry.
Ma'am, will the line of communication still be open for private communication directives?
It's open, but we won't be checking them with.
Got it, ma'am.
And to questions.
Okay. Do we have any questions?
It would seem that wait, never mind. Sorry, that's my bad.
All right, cool. So just in general, delegates, when you're giving us speeches, especially your first speech, it's so say I was a delegate, you're supposed to establish your stance. So say you're the Minister of Home Affairs, you should establish whether you think there should be a violation good speeches from both of you.
Point of first and privilege, your voice was breaking.
Nothing. I was just saying points very well noted, delegate.
Okay, thank you.
Pulkit, do you have any questions?
Not really, no.
Okay, cool, fine. Delegates, can you give us 1 minute? Okay, delegates, so we have an update. I will be reading it out now. So we've received an update from the Chinese government. Okay. Okay. So delegates, we have the Chief of General Military Commission, which is good. Delegates, we have an update. The update states that the Chinese government has detected a new virus in Beijing. Its source and symptoms are unknown. There have been no casualties yet, and no signs of how the virus is transferred have been detected. So, any points of information
Yeah, so
on this update will be entertained.
is there a causative agent detected for the virus? Specific
No.
causative agent?
This is all we know about the virus.
Again, due to lack of information, we don't really know much about it as of yet.
The Chinese government is looking into it. So there may be an update in the future, but this is the update.
So there's a virus, right? Okay.
Yes.
I think we should start by informing other countries, especially the world leaders, so that
Point of parliamentary inquiry, how exactly are we having debates inside joint right now?
Exactly, yeah.
How exactly are we? What? Oh yeah, you're in an unmode for 10 minutes, like for 5 minutes by the discussion of the chair.
Oh, all right.
Just
So
discuss.
delegates, the first thing we have to do is ideally identify patient zero, who in virology terms is the patient who's the first infected by. That would give us the actual sample of
Clear idea and a
delegate. Can I please complete for a second? Yeah,
Yeah,
that would
delegates
give
don't
us.
cross talk.
Yeah, delegates. That would give us the first unmutated version of the virus on which we can potentially build a cure, whether that be a vaccine or something along the lines of another form of therapy, right? Second thing we have to do is we have to look at the um, Chinese Institute of Virology, which is based in Beijing. We ideally need to send a sample to them for further investigation. That would again enable us to look at what type of virus it is, what is its R naught, which is its rate of spread, and how exactly can it spread, and then accordingly we can take perhaps lockdown measures if necessary. In addition to that, I'd preemptively say that we place the infected people in quarantine, strict quarantine, and then examine.
Delegate, we have no idea who the infected patients are. But
All right.
in case of an update, yes, that does count.
All right. These are the measures I suggest as of now. I think the other delegates can now comment on this.
Yeah, you're an unmod. You can feel free to talk. Just don't cross talk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I suggest first of all we should inform the people from other countries, the world leaders from other countries about a possible pandemic, because so that the situation doesn't get out of hand. And as of 2020, China's reputation is already very bad due to the COVID-19 situation.
1 second, delegate. To reiterate, we are not in 2020. We are in October 2019.
Okay.
There is no such thing as a COVID-19 virus. Okay.
So then we should inform other countries so that this situation doesn't get out of hand. Yeah, and then pandemic does not happen, so that other countries can also start taking their respective measures.
Delegate, you consider the ramifications which such an action would have, specifically a potential scapegoat for the US to place further blame on China. It give US leverage on the international stage if we, let's say, possibly give them misinformation about this virus. I'd strongly suggest that we wait until we have proper symptoms, proper updates on how exactly the virus spreads, how it spreads, its infectivity rate, severity, etc.
I agree, but if we do not inform the other countries, then it will give the United States way more points against us, and this situation gets out of hand. If we don't inform them, it will be worse for us as in our reputation.
I think what we should do is we should inform the countries with the information that we have so that we don't look misinformed, or neither the US can do anything against us, because Trump is already is against us, which is why we need to play safe. But we don't want the situation to go out of hand. So we should play a bit safe and give the information that we have received now, which is this update that we have got now. Which is what I suggest.
Yeah. As for measures, we have to ideally get in contact as a cabinet with the National Health and Family Planning Commission that handles healthcare operations here in China. And accordingly, we'll brief them of these developments and hopefully ideally sanction them funds to build possible facilities in the event that this virus ramps up to a national threat, something like temporary hospitals, the way we've done in the SARS virus in the past, something like that.
Points very well noted, delegate. Any more discussions on this? So the chairperson would advise you guys to come up with a joint directive as of what to do. Okay. Because it's not known who all knows this information. The chairperson has just told you the information of the update. So you have around 3 minutes to come up with a directive. Any of you can screen share. I think I can. If you have the rights, you can screen share. If not, then just write it on WhatsApp and share it in the group. But the chairperson does urge you to come up with a directive before the end of the session.
Point of parliamentary inquiry. Is there
Yes, delegate.
a format for a directive?
Um, no, just like introduce and then just write the 2, 3 measures you want to take and then conclude. There's no specific format. Just needs to be organized. But yeah, so I think one of the delegates has sent a link to a joint directive.
Mm-hmm.
So all of you should be able to edit that. Okay, until then, I will be, 1 second, Mr. Polkit will stay here for you to decide your directive. I'll just be back. 1 second. I'll
So I think the measures that we discussed should be there on the directive.
Essentially, yeah, that's the main idea.
Yeah.
It's a formalized version of summarizing every point you've made up until now, or like any action you want to take, basically.
So would it be possible for the host or at least any secretariat member here to give a screen sharing licenses? That would make it a lot easier for us to debate and deliberate upon the directive.
Uh, yeah, we're attempting. However, the host privileges are with another person. It's not with me, basically. So it's not with Devashish either. So essentially, we won't be able to give you guys the rights as of now. If you need, I can screen share the directive from my own from my computer if that's something you would want.
Yes, sir. I think that would be fine. We have sent the link on the group. If you could just open that link and present it, that would be very helpful for us.
All right, delegates. I'm just opening it and screen sharing. Unfortunately, it would seem screen sharing for me has also been disabled as of now. We just have to
It's
wait for
okay.
the host to enable it.
Just discuss it. One if you can type it and the others can discuss. Even I can't share my screen.
All right. So, delegates, I'm still apprehensive about informing other nations of this development. I would suggest that instead of specifically informing nations, we inform the WHO. That would be more helpful to us at least because that acts as a mediator between our potential um, enemies in the diplomatic sphere, right? So, I think informing the WHO instead of informing specific nations is a better measure in the situation.
Delegate informing the WHO would entail informing every country in the UN
Yes, sir.
or
I've
almost.
noted that. However, instead of that coming from the Chinese, well, of course, it comes from our intelligence. However, if the WHO portrays it to the world, it appears to be more reliable and more trustworthy.
So
Yes,
then I'd suggest you don't write a directive, you write a communique. You write a directive and a communique. You write a communique to the WHO. I mean, I'm just suggesting right now because it's real quick. So you write a communique to the WHO, talking about the virus and its introduction, and you write a directive about what all steps you're going to be taking in China, and you need to decide which is pertinent unless you can do both in the same time.
So we had a communique and a directive.
Delegates, um, the impact of a nationwide lockdown as of now would be very detrimental to our economy as well as the social morale which we have built. Is in contrary to that, I'd suggest simply locking down Beijing, as that's currently ground zero of this apparent virus. And of course, we cannot lock down the entire city of Beijing. That's again a lot of economic.
Yes,
I'm
but
sorry.
if we do not lock down even Beijing and then the situation gets out of hand, the economy could suffer more.
Sir, I get your point. However, we also need to realize the fact that in such responses previously, it's always spread panic, spread misinformation, created an environment where conspiracy theories or generally public sentiment can reduce in such situation. And as a part of that, I suggest that we hold on to a lockdown as of now. What we can do is we can, of course, um, barricade the area or at least cover off the area from where this virus was
The
identified.
But the thing is, we don't know which area is it. We just know the city. So
Exactly. That's why um, we have
We
to
don't
wait
even
until
know
we
if
actually
it's
identify the source, right?
we
I
don't
think
even
we
know if
should.
it's only in Beijing. It might be somewhere else. We don't know it.
What
Right?
I
Yes.
Delegates, I get your point. However, the domestic blowback which we'll receive is paramount in the situation. What I suggest is that we hold lockdown measures on standby. We have all provisions ready in the event that this escalates to a pandemic or an epidemic situation. For
Delegates, we
example,
have 5 minutes left to write a communique and a directive, so I suggest you speed things up.
all right, sir.
I agree, but
For
what we
example,
can do is we
preparing.
can do a lockdown in the Beijing because we really don't know which part of Beijing. Technically, we have to go to the whole city.
I mean, I get your point, delegate, but then again, what I suggest is that we have preemptive measures in place. For example, increasing our supply of protective gear for healthcare workers, increasing production of surgical masks potentially. Um, Such measures would enable us to react if this virus is found to be fatal, found to be a threat to the Chinese economy and beyond.
I agree, but
And
there can
anyways,
there can be
China
a higher increase if we don't put the whole city in the lockdown. We are just
China receives most negative reputation because of our secrecy. We need to start
I
informing
get
them
your point, sir,
very
but then
ASAP.
again, the party
we
manifestos
cannot
that
spread misinformation.
all right have a
We are
lockdown then
keeping
also
a secret because we
strongly
don't have the whole update.
the word.
Devashish, if you can tell me that you have to join the Indian cabinet, is it?
Yes, ma'am. If that's possible, could you just assign that to me?
Sure.
So
Just give me about 30 seconds and I'll
of
internet
course,
you.
ma'am. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
We
This
don't want to the list of
disease.
symptoms. We have to wait until the Chinese Institute of Virology gets back to us.
So that should be our next step after they get back to us. What are next steps we should
Exactly.
do? So that this should be a next step.
I think someone was writing this, so which is why I asked.
Delegates, would you be requiring more time for the directive as well as the communique?
No, sir, we're almost done. It require about 2 minutes more. That's it.
All right, so we'll extend the unmoderated caucus by 2 minutes then, by discretion of the chair, obviously. Yeah.
So is there a specific free state? I was absent for the beginning of the committee, so
The freeze date is supposed to be October of 2019.
October
31st October of 2019.
31st of October of 2019. Yeah.
delegates we simply cannot command other nations to take preventive measures, even through the WHO. Delegates we realize the fact that if this virus turns out to be something very important, something very easy to deal with, something having significantly low infectivity rates, this would simply be bad PR for us.
And I'm not writing this.
Exactly. Please avoid this. Yeah.
This is someone else who's writing it. I'm not writing it. I completely agree with you.
Yeah. Who's anonymous? Wait a second. Um, all right, yes, delegates. So back to the point here. We simply have to portray the fact that China is doing its best to deal with this virus. That should be enough to avoid most of the bad PR which we may encounter if this virus escalates to a pandemic or even an epidemic status. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
And I completely agree with that.
Thank you. Thank you.
How about the director of political work department?
I agree, but then again, if the situation, even if it has low infectivity rates, and if we don't inform other countries and then they get to know that it started from Beijing, that would be worse PR. Instead, if we inform the other countries if we talk about reputation.
The thing is, we cannot give misinformation.
We're not giving misinformation. We're just telling them that there is this virus starting out in Beijing, and then the countries can, if they want to take preventative measures or even tell the citizens, then that's up to them.
Or what we can do is that we can inform the countries while being playing safe. So we can say that China is doing the best to prevent this.
Delegate, have you come to a directive? Like, have you arranged some sort of a directive?
So we're done with the communique. We're almost done with the directive as well.
Yep.
All right, cool, good.
So I'm just saying that we can inform that China's doing its best to prevent this, and I think
we cannot use empty words to say that we're doing our best. We need to provide substantive proof. For that, I've mentioned that we're cooperating with epidemiology experts. We're also having the Chinese Institute of Virology investigate this. So we need concrete measures which we need to write.
So if we include a communique.
Yeah, so when we write it to the WHO, we can tell that and say to inform the other countries to be aware of this, so that we have so that people don't say that we are being secretive, because China is known for being.
I think all of you are on the same page, right? Then.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Both of you want to send it to the WHO, so then just write it up quickly. Hey, I mean, in the future, I'm just going to put this out here. In the future, the updates are going to be a lot more complex and a lot more difficult, and the time to solve them is going to be a lot less. So you need to be quick.
Yeah, I got that. So
good.
So, okay, you're right. So who's writing the communique?
I did. I think we're done.
Okay.
What else should we include in the directive?
And are we done with the directive as well?
Not really. I don't think so. We can leave it
Just,
at
one-
that they're
one last
investigating.
Delegates, I'm not sure if we'll be able to give you more time for the directive.
We're
Try to
done,
wrap
sir.
things up really quick.
We're done, sir.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, we're
All
done.
right, you're done with the
Is it on the
directive and
doc?
the communique?
Yes, sir.
yeah.
Pulkit, could you go through it?
All right. So, if everyone agrees, we'll just go through the directive quickly. So, Operation Containment authors the Chinese cabinet. Objective: investigation and investigation of the recently discovered virus. Point one: extensive collaboration with the Chinese National Health and Family Planning Commission, including an emergency sanction of 70 million yuan to ensure a timely response in the event that the virus escalates to a public emergency. In cooperation with the Chinese Health and Family Planning Commission, the Chinese Institute of Virology will undertake the investigation of this virus. Sorry, that's why that was the second point, the one that I just said, starting
Yeah.
from in cooperation all the way to this virus.
Yes.
Third point, the Chinese National Health and Family Planning Commission shall prepare the production of PPEs and N95 masks in order to ensure first line of order protection and dealing with the potential pandemic. Fourth point, the CNHFPC, which I'm assuming is the Chinese National Health and Family Planning Commission, although next time try not to use abbreviations in directives, shall
Okay.
conduct expert epidemiology as per the which shall consult expert epidemiologists. Sorry, that's my bad. As per the recommendation of the WHO. Uh, all right.
Delegate,
So
you said 70 million yuan. So that's roughly 7 billion, like 7 billion yuan. Is it? Yeah. No, 7 billion Indian rupees, which is 1
So
billion
it's
US dollars.
around, I'll give you, it's around um,
No,
7
it's
to
10
around
8
10 million.
billion
It's
US
around 10
10
million
million
US
dollars.
US dollars.
dollars.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Good, 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 good. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I did the math wrong. I got
Delegates,
1 billion.
would you be open to a few questions from the chair?
Sure, sir.
Yes.
So essentially, in the directive, you say that you'd have an emergency sanction of 70 million yuan. So, firstly, would this sanction, would this money, where would this money be used? First off, secondly, and would it be used only if the virus escalates, or do we allocate it right now? And thirdly, where would you get this money from? Where you're taking, you must be removing you must be removing the money from some other part of the budget. So, where exactly is this money coming from?
All right, sir, I'll answer your questions. Firstly, the use of this sanction. It's A, to ensure that PPE and surgical mask production, as well as other medical equipment which may be necessary for dealing with this virus, is produced in a timely manner without any issues there. Second thing is where it's coming from. It's This amount is fairly minuscule in the large scale which the Chinese budget is. It's about 7 to 8 million US dollars. Again, this is coming from the finance ministry in itself um, as an emergency sanction. As for, could you repeat your last question, sir?
Essentially, what would this money be used for exactly?
I've answered that. So, is there anything else?
No, it was
Uh,
just where will it be taken in from, like from
Okay.
yeah.
budget. So no specific place, it'll just be taken. So can that be up to the discretion of the chair where the money will be taken from in your budget? Or do you want to
Sure.
assign a specific place? I'd advise the latter, but it's up to you.
No, I think it's up to the executive board in this situation. I think that's perfectly fine with
The
us.
money
Fair
can
enough.
also be taken from the Chinese treasury. We have 1.8 trillion US dollars
Thirdly, I
in our
realize that
treasury.
we simply cannot liquidate. Well, of course, this is a minuscule amount. This wouldn't be much. However, that 1.8 trillion needs to be there to ensure financial security of all the banks in China. So it's not like it's a free grant which we can take at any time. Just making this clear.
But this is an important issue. This is for the health of our citizens and the country
I mean, you don't
overall.
really
We
know the
simply
symptoms of the
cannot,
virus or even if it's
exactly.
fatal. So it's
We simply
technically not for
cannot
the
take
healthiest
it from the
people.
treasury. That's pretty clear since the treasury is
I
there
think
for
it's
financial security.
I
It
think
would be
it's a
possible. It would be
directive.
possible if the cabinet all agrees to do it, but it would have massive ramifications economically, not just for the banks of China, but for the people who have their money in the banks. It'd be disloyal to the people to take their money for such purposes.
No, sir, I'm not in favor of such. as I've said before.
Right. So if all of you are on board, I will ratify this directive and then I will go to the Indian cabinet and announce this because it's being announced in the WHO. So I'm going to announce that.
No. Wait. Secondly, we have the communique as well to the
Announce the means.
WHO.
Would you prefer if I don't announce the means that you guys are taking, or should I announce that?
So, of course, only announce the part which is mentioned in
The
the
communique, right? Got it.
Only.
Got it.
Should I read the communique as well? With
The
the
communique, it's just telling the then the Indian cabinet
all
knows as
right.
well.
As long as everyone's read it, everyone's on the same page. That's fine. But if any of the delegates
All right.
require reading of the communique, do tell us.
All right. Cool. Cool. All right. Cool. Delegates, you have an unmod for 2 minutes. You can just discuss anything regarding future conversations. I don't know. But you know, even if there's a chance that you want to lock the country down, whatever, it depends on whatever it is. Okay. So give us a minute.
All right, delegates. I guess this is turned into.
Extremely sorry, everyone. There's some technical error that's still going on. So until then, can we just wait for 5 minutes? If there's any sort of discussion, the necessary arrangement is being made. Sorry for the delay.
Okay, so delegates, due to some technical complications for the time being, we are unable to split the rooms like for like I'd say like 10 minutes. It should be resolved quite soon. Until then, if any of you are like, I mean, if you guys are comfortable in delivering your statements in front of the entire committee, I mean, just raise your hands. If you are not, that is also understandable. And then we can just wait for some time.
Yeah, we can take it as an opening statement.
But just please raise your hands if you're comfortable with delivering your opening statements in front of the whole committee. Okay, so we have 2 hands raised in total, so I'm assuming most of you are not okay with delivering your statements in front of the committee. So then I guess we just have to wait.
Chairperson,
Okay, yeah.
Point of parliamentary inquiry. How long will we
Yes,
be in
delegate.
rooms?
how long will you be in the breakout room? So for the entirety of committee, basically it's two separate breakout rooms. The Indian delegates are together and the Chinese delegates are together. So that's how it's going to go as soon as we figure out how to do it.
Okay. Thank you, Chairperson.
Delegates in the meantime, like if you want an unmod, then like by the discretion of the chair, you have an unmod for 10 minutes. You can lobby, you can talk, you can get to know each other. I don't know. Just have fun.
So we are being unmod right now, or
Yes,
I
yes, you are in an unmoderated caucus.
all right.
Will
Thank you.
the unmoderated caucus be marked this one?
Delegate, since you joined the meeting, everything is being marked.
Right. Delegates from the Chinese side, I would avoid having any discussion right now, as we need to be on the same platform, the same mindset. So that we wait until we allotted our own breakout room before we start discussion with the Indian side.
Same for the Indian side, delegates.
So what you guys are saying is you just don't want to speak at all.
We essentially mean that we do not want to convey our points towards the other side, towards the other cabinet, towards the other country. We first want to discuss it with our own nation, in a breakout room or another meeting.
We can do it through
Somehow.
WhatsApp. We have a WhatsApp group, so maybe we can do
Yeah.
it there.
Yeah, that's a
So
good idea.
That's what I
Thank
think.
you.
Because we are anyways discussing the same thing in the breakout room, so let's not waste time. Half an hour is already wasted. I mean,
executive board, if the crisis update for both the committees, as usually it is in a joint crisis committee, same, could you share that first?
Could
Okay,
you
so
repeat? I couldn't hear you.
write
I
your
mean,
message.
usually in a JCC, the first crisis update that is given for both the cabinets is same. So if it's same for
Yes.
this committee, can you give it right now?
No, delegate, the
Yeah.
crisis update will be introduced later. Until
All
then,
right.
I'm properly suggesting that you guys give your opening statements
So
on the
how can we
WhatsApp
give
group
our
chat.
opening
No, I
statements?
delegate, let me
So we are
finish.
two different.
I said on the WhatsApp group chat. And delegates, please don't cross talk and maintain decorum or you will be gagged.
A doubt for the secretariat. Will we have a feedback session at the end of the day today?
Yes, delegate, I believe so.
All right.
Delegates, I hope most of you saw the freeze date on the background guide, and I've just read the background guide in general. Is that
So
a yes?
there's not an actual freeze date, it's just mentioned by October 2019.
Yes, delegate. So when you get the crisis, I believe that it will be more sorted, and when you'll be able to send communicates,
Got that, ma'am.
right?
Delegates, just to clarify, as some of you have a bit of confusion with what the freeze date is, you can basically take it anywhere up till 31st of October. So it's all good. 31st of October 2019, that is. Delegates, please put your hands up for your chairperson, like of the Chinese cabinet, vice chairperson of the Chinese cabinet, Mr. Pulkit Mahata. It's a sign of respect, and I urge all of you to do it. Yes, I appreciate that, man. Chief of military, Central Military Commission. I appreciate that.
Is any kind of documentation right now in order?
Yes, delegates, you can send us any communiques through WhatsApp
All
or
right.
any directives. Also, delegates, I really do apologize for this waiting time you have. It's not in our control. It's just there's a bit of a technical issue when it comes to making the breakout rooms. So I do appreciate your patience greatly. And yeah, thank you. Okay, so delegates, upon receiving some of your communiques, some things to mention. Firstly, please do write your country on the bottom, because most communiques we received, their countries haven't been written. It gets a little bit confusing. Secondly, I'd urge you to make your communiques a lot more detailed. For example, if you're asking for some troops, what is the purpose of the troops, and how long, how many do you need them, whatever, okay? But make sure they're detailed, because that increases the chances of them getting ratified. We'll be taking amendments in your communiques. Just keep sending them over.
Could the delegates do me a favor and change their names to India and China respectively just for a moment so that we can divide you in the breakout rooms easily? Just India and China, nothing else.
Delegates. So another addition to your communiques is that when you address them and say you're proposing something, you should address it to the delegate that you're proposing it to. So say I'm proposing to Abhivir that we become friends. Abhivir is your vice chairperson. I will send it to Abhivir. I won't send it to Gauri saying that I want to become friends with Abhivir. Okay. So say you're sending a communique, send it to the person you're addressing it to and clearly word what you're trying to bring about. Okay.
Point of parliamentary inquiry.
Yes, delegate.
Chair, are you able to see private messages? Because in case we're logging our messaging to other delegates, are you able to see them? Or because I don't think you can put two people in a message in the private chat.
You can lobby over WhatsApp over the committee groups. That would be more advice because you'll be marked on that.
Not the private chats in Zoom.
I mean, you can if it's informal or anything. It's up to you. I mean, if you want it to be marked, then I'd suggest you do it over WhatsApp.
Okay, thank you, Chair.
Yes. Any more doubts?
No, I don't think so.
All right, delegate.
Devashish, where is Pulkit?
I'm right here. Should I change my name? You said change it to China, so yeah.
No, just the delegates. You can change your name. Yeah, Delegates were about to open the room. Sorry for the wait. Yeah, shouldn't be less than a minute.
Cool.
Delegate, somebody's asking me what a communique is. I will be screen sharing a document in our respective committee and we can talk about it then.
Should I
That
just
works.
explain it real quick?
Yeah, sure. Okay.
All right. Who asked?
I don't know exactly because it's
Okay.
everybody's India. So
That's cool. That's cool. Okay. So delegates, the two ways you communicate outside committee are either by sending a directive or using a communique. Now, a directive is mainly you can regard it as a plan of action. So it must have some sort of event taking place. So a directive could be that I want to kill, assassinate so and so. That's a directive. But a communique is just sending a message, sending information. So like many delegates raised the doubt that can we bring information that we have noticed under our portfolio powers? Yes, you can, but you do that through a communique. So say you want to communicate with the Prime Minister of China, you write a communique saying from say the Home Minister of India to the Prime Minister of China, and that comes to us, and then you can, the second we say ratified, okay, we respond ratified, that means that that communication has taken place and we will let you know the results of it in committee or personally, okay, mostly in committee because the communiques are supposed to be disclosed in committee. So communique is basically just, you could consider it like formal communication from yourself to outside the committee. You could also do inter-cabinet communication. For example, delegates of the Indian cabinet could send communiques to the Chinese cabinet, and those can be used to create a peace treaty among them. Okay, so that's how a communique works. Are there any more questions, or have I answered your question? Okay, I'm gonna assume I have.
This is not a very important question, but does a communique have a specific format?
Yeah, it's just to, then the body, and then from. That's it.
Thank you.
Yep.
okay, delegates, just to clarify, we've received some questions in the chats. All right, I see delegate, the defense minister raising the placard. Can you please?
Yeah, just a question. Will press releases also be entertained by the EB?
Let me get back. Towards the end, I believe we'll be looking at a collective treaty or a press release. We'll finalize that towards day 3 if that works for you.
Got it.
All right. So we've received a few queries on how the chits are working. So we'll be requesting you to send your chits personally to us if they're via EB on WhatsApp, and then we'll forward it to the respective delegate. And yeah, I hope that's clear. Everybody understood that.
I got it.
Okay, delegates, I think the breakout rooms are open now. So you can join them.
I'm not able to see any option to join though.
Same here.
Same here.
All right, I think it's happening one by one. Just take a moment. Okay, I think
I'm still not able to join the breakout room.
we're looking at that.
Okay, cool. The rooms are about to be assigned.
Delegates are requested to check if you're getting the breakout rooms option below.
I'm not getting any breakout rooms option.
No,
I have
not
got the
required.
breakout room 2 option right now.
Yes, please join. Whoever's getting it, please join.
Sure.
Okay.
Ma'am, I just wanted to ask how we're supposed to send the directives and to whom are we supposed to send them?
You send that to us privately. So if you're in India, then you send it to me. If you
Thank you.
Ma'am, those who are not getting the option, what shall they do as of now?
we're trying to sort that out. Just give me a moment. So who all are not getting the option? Can I just get a show of hands or just
I had it a minute ago, but I just lost it.
okay? Could check if you're getting it in your tab below.
Yeah, that's where I had it a minute ago. I just lost it.
All right. अभी भी
Yeah.
you're getting it.
No.
Okay.
I'm not getting it either.
Okay, so we're
The breakout
assigning
rooms just aren't
again.
working.
Yeah, we're
Okay,
assigning again.
cool. It keeps saying the breakout rooms will close in some minutes.
I don't get it.
I think it's because the host isn't present. Or
No, the host is here.
yeah.
Gauri, can you just check now, please?
I am not getting an option, ma'am. Delegates, are you? Anyone?
No.
No.
Okay, Gauri, you have
Same
me
here.
about a minute. I'll get back to you. Just give me a minute. I'll get back. Yeah. Gauri, it seems that Devashish, somebody by the name called Devashish, he's already been in one of the rooms. So why isn't that others are getting the option of joining the room?
I don't get it either. Devashish is in her room, but
Devashish is into one of the breakout rooms.
yes, but none of us are getting the option. I believe I'm not getting it either.
All right, let me get back to you. Thank you. Just give me a minute.
I'm really sorry about the breakout room situation. I believe we have lunch at 3. So we'll be working on the same. We'll be sorting it out, and the second company session should be more productive. I'm really sorry about the situation once again.
Some of the delegates have joined it, but not all.
Yeah, I see that. I'm not getting why some of us are getting it sometimes. All right, delegates. So, an announcement: we're creating a new link. Nivedita ma'am will put it in the chat. I request you to join that whenever it's not there yet. I'll just announce that when it does come.
What are we doing now?
I request you to please go to your groups and start deliberating. I see China is very active. India is a little slow, so I encourage more discussion in that.
I've not got the link yet, like the new Zoom
Yeah,
link.
we're sharing it. Just a moment. We're creating it.
Okay.
Gauri, please check the chat box once.
So the link is there. I'm also sending it in the WhatsApp group for those who can't see it. Requesting everyone to join.
I request Srividya ma'am to end the meeting for everyone and
Yeah.
if
Let them just access the link. Dave Prakash, can you please change your name?
Yeah, okay.
We're just waiting for the other co-chairperson and we'll begin. Until then, do we have any doubts from the background guide or anything in general?
What would be the specific freeze date we would given a vague definition of October 2019?
We'll work from the first week of October if that works.
Could it be more specific considering the fact that you require specific dates and times for directives and other documentation?
1st October, sir. Anything else?
Could you please
And
give a brief gist about how basically a JCC works?
give me a moment, right? Just alright, okay. So Devashish is here now. And we can begin.
Hello.
Yeah, hi. Can you turn on your
Alright,
camera?
are all the delegates there?
Yeah,
Oh,
I think so. Yeah.
wait, so I've joined my phone because my laptop is restarting. I'll rejoin my laptop in a second.
Oof. Okay. So we had a question. How does a joint cabinet JCC work? Right. So we'll be dividing you into 2 breakout rooms, and we'll be giving you your crisis notes. So we're doing a little bit of a mix. We'll be declaring the crises here together, and then we'll be dividing you into breakout rooms, where you will be. There will be no other form of communication other than a communique or a directive. Towards the end, we hope to end the committee with a treaty between both countries to resolve the issue. Um, so Abhivir and I would be going to the Indian cabinet, while Devashish will be going to the Chinese cabinet. The awards I will be giving more clarity on later, but I think that should help you out.
I have another doubt. Can I ask that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Certain portfolios currently present here simply do not exist in China. However, there is a portfolio
Delegate, one second, delegate. So this happens a lot of times in EMEAs, wherein a lot of members that aren't even part of the Security Council in the United Nations are present in EMEAs. So it's a completely simulated event. Even the freeze date is a lot before. Hence, we whatever portfolios we want.
So I
I
get
hope
that, but then
clarifies your doubt.
so can I follow up on that?
So what difference is it make? Yeah, what difference is it?
So the difference it makes is that it does not have a defined set of legal powers under its own mandate as per the
You want
Chinese
to know your
legislative.
legal powers? You ask us. I mean, I'm trying to help you out, right? Okay, cool. So, about your legal powers, you can just write a private communique or a private directive, and if it's ratified by the chair, then you can consider that it's under your legal mandate. However, we do not expect someone like a, minister of, home minister or something, taking part in like nuclear war or something, or nuclear treaties. That should just be given by the name and the title that you received. So, if that's clear, then I think let's get into our breakout rooms.
First, we'll mark the roll call, and then we can divide. Or would you
I
want to
actually
do?
had a doubt.
Yes, delegate.
About crisis notes, can we also send our own crisis notes just as a suggestion to the EB?
It's up to the
One second,
EB
no,
if we
no.
want to
Gauri, can
accept
I
it or
answer
not.
that?
Okay. Yeah,
All
sure.
right, yes, delegate. So, your crisis, so you cannot like straight up send us an update saying that so and so happened. You can send, however, communicate to the EB saying that we witnessed so and so, and if that communication is verified, then it goes in a. Secondly, what you can do is, this is how a constant crisis committee works: is that we present the crisis to you, and then you take steps to resolve it. Say there's a crisis that there's a bombing in a school, and you send 25 troops with 15 secret agents disguised as commoners to find the bombers, and we say ratify that. Okay, obviously you give the entire procedure and we say ratify that. Then depending on what the EB decides happens. Okay, not really the EB decides, what information we get back. So say those 25 troops and 15, secret agents were successful in their operation. We would give an update saying that, okay, the bombers have been caught. They're identified as so and so, so and so, and so and so, and the place is safe. However, if it does not work, then we'll say that, okay, bombers haven't been caught. They know of our place and they've fled the country. Okay, so do you see how it works?
Yes, sir.
Sir, but considering the fact that we also have our portfolio powers, as in, given the example, if raw the research and analysis wing has gotten some information about certain troops infiltrating to the Indian side or something, they will, inform the prime
Yes, I
minister.
said you will
Obviously,
give us a
if
communique. We will pass it on to the prime minister, and if we think that communique is ratified and valid,
wait, we cannot consider you as the prime minister.
no. You just send it to us. You send it to the EB. Basically, when you send a communique, you can say address to the prime minister, and instead it goes to the EB. And what the EB's hypothetical role is that we've sent it to the prime minister, we've gotten the response of the prime minister, and we deliver it back an update. So you say you saw some troops in, say, a valley in Kashmir.
Considering Galwan Valley.
Yeah. So say you saw some troops there. You want to report it to the prime minister. So you write a communique saying from military intelligence DG to the prime minister of India. Okay. And you send it to the EB. Now, what the EB does hypothetically is it sends it to the prime minister and it gives you the update. All right. Does that make sense?
Go.
Another doubt, just one small doubt. For there's certain portfolios which are absent. For example, the Minister of State Security in the Chinese side. Now that portfolio is very pivotal toward intelligence operations. So how would we undertake intelligence operations? Can we only undertake them through public directives now?
No, you can in fact send private directives provided you lobby with the right delegates. So say you approach the, I think it's called, hmm, so say you approach the Chinese Secret Service and you send them a communique saying that I need your help, even though they're not in committee. Say we ratify that communique, then you have permission to take their help. So basically, portfolios that do not exist, you can communicate with them using a directive, using a communique. Once that communique is ratified, we'll confirm it to you. And usually this is done by private communiques because, obviously you don't want to tell your plans to the entire committee, but if you do, that's also looked highly upon. Then, provided they say yes, provided you've asked for, say, I don't know, and they give it to you, then you have full liberty to use that, no matter what your portfolio is. Okay. However, we expect you to lobby with other delegates in committee as well. Cool. Any more questions?
A logistical doubt, how would we send a documentation? Would it be through the Zoom personal chat or mail, or how would we going to do this?
WhatsApp.
You can just private message us on WhatsApp.
Yeah, and if there's some document that we're looking at, then that could be mailed to us. I can share our emails on WhatsApp. Okay, anything else? Alright, there's not. So I'm beginning with the roll call.
So in the roll call, you can either respond present or present in voting. And do all of you know the difference between the two?
Present in voting, when you say present in voting, you vote towards the end, and when you just say present, you're.
Yep, that's correct. So when you say present in voting, it means that you have to vote. Say there's a decision being taken, you have to vote. And once you've said present in voting, you can't go back to saying present. But if you say present, then you can reserve your right to vote and you can just say, I'm not going to vote. So you can present a more neutral standpoint. It's not really a difference. You can choose whatever you want. But yeah. All right, cool. Let's begin.
Is it? I have a doubt.
Yes, delegate.
Is it possible to change if you say present now, can you change it to present and voting later?
Yeah, you can go from present to present and voting, but you can't go from present and voting to present.
So I had a doubt.
Yes, delegate.
So considering the fact it is a crisis committee and we don't use present and voting often, so are we still going to have present and voting?
I just said we're going to
Yes,
have it.
same doubt.
We're going to have it.
We're going to have it. Since the treaty is between two countries, I believe that it should be obvious. All right. So I'm beginning with the roll call. Defense Minister of India.
Present.
Director of Intelligence Bureau, India.
Present.
All right. I'm taking the names of the Indian delegates first, and then I'll go on to the Chinese ones. Minister of Home Affairs.
Present in voting.
Lieutenant General, General Command, Indian Army. Central Command, sorry.
Present and voting.
Right. Chief of Army Staff.
Present in voting.
Director of Research and Analysis
Present.
Wing. Director General of the Military Intelligence Directorate.
Present.
Just a moment. I'll have something to tell you. All right, on to the Chinese representatives. Finance Minister. Finance Minister. Delegates, I can't see your face, so I don't know if the Finance Minister is in the committee. All right. Reading it one last time. Finance Minister. Okay. Moving on. Director of the Political War Department, CMC.
Present.
Minister of Home Affairs.
Present and voting.
Defense Minister.
Present.
Okay. So now we can divide them into
My roll was called.
delegate member.
Ma'am, your voice is cracking, but I'll say it again. My roll call wasn't called.
May I know your portfolio?
Chief of the Central Military Commission, China.
Is your name Kavish Garg?
Yes, ma'am.
Alright, sorry. May I know your roll call?
Present.
So there's some with my Wi-Fi, I'm guessing. You divide us into two breakout rooms, so will you make me the host?
Ma'am,
Or
your
Devashi?
voice is cracking a lot and we cannot
Yes.
hear anything.
Okay, fine. Let's just give ma'am a minute. Until then, how many of you like for how many of you is this their first time here?
Mine.
Who's?
Mine also.
Me too.
Cool. Okay. Cool. All right. And what made you choose this committee, in crisis committee? I mean, joint crisis committees like the same thing. Okay. Can I just not hear anyone? I can't hear shit. Wait, I can hear you. Give me a second.
So are we audible to you?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think everyone was on mute.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yes.
That's my bad.
So can you repeat a question again?
Nothing. I was just asking what made you choose this committee. It's just for fun, because that's good. Then we'll have some fun over the next 3 days. Is Gauri back?
Hello, am I audible now?
Yeah, you are. Yeah. Can we? Yeah. Can you put us into the breakout rooms?
Just a suggestion for the benefit of both the cabinets, could the crisis update be declared in the breakout rooms and not in a meeting that both of the cabinet members are present?
All right, delegate. Your suggestion was noted. Thank you.
Nivedita ma'am, can you please make me the host?
What's the delegate count for both of the committees? Both of the cabinets, sorry.
I'm not really sure. I think Gauri
7
will
in
know.
the Indian cabinet and 5 in the Chinese.
All
All
right.
right. Okay, so delegates, just a quick little note because this is some of your first time, right? Having done many crisis committees myself, I'd say one of the most important things that we're expecting from you is for you to be pragmatic in your nature, which means that I want the solutions that you provide. I mean, obviously, all of your speeches, all of your work, everything in the committee should be solution oriented and it shouldn't be haywire. Apart from that, I need all of you to be pragmatic and practical in your nature. So you can't, ask, the entire country of China to be bombed. Okay. Um, uh, Obviously, I want all of you to have fun, so it's not off the table. But um, and another thing is that a lot of delegates I've noticed do not lead up to a directive. They're straight up. They're create a directive involving, say, the prime minister of 3 countries without having any communication before. So I'd say don't focus on sending the most amount of directives, but focus on sending 2-3 really good directives. How that happens is you send many communiques leading up to it. You write a communique to every single delegate involved, every single party involved, and you ask for their permission. And as it leads up to a good directive, we'll ratify it. And usually, committee directives are given more weightage to because obviously the entire committee is on board. However, private directives work just as well. So now I think let's get into our breakout rooms. Good luck to all of you. Have fun. It's no big deal.